Yeah, so the AMS system here automatically integrates with these devices and platforms and just feeds straight into the athlete's account, really. It's really that easy, and we can display all this information together in the one place.
And Jeff, sorry, you're doing a fair bit of your prescription on TrainingPeaks?
So we run quite a diverse system. So TrainingPeaks basically provides our athletes with the guidelines of the overall week, and we will drop strength training into there, and we will drop, you know, any physiotherapy appointments, or we'll drop on-water training, and they all run Garmin watches, so they all have live feedback, whether they're cycling or they're training or they're doing whatever they want to do. I actually run off Teambuildr, and our athletes are all connected to that. So that's another thing that we can integrate into the system. And we track, you know, training loads, training volumes, and just basically development of athletes in the gym environment from that. And we also, you know, velocity is another part of our training that we use, because obviously, you know, moving a sail or pulling up a kite has a velocity component to it. The faster the kite goes up, the faster the boat will go. So, you know, that's something else we use. So we've got a number of items here. You know, there's lots of different integrations, but that's how my prescription's done.
Okay. And Owen, just as a shout out for you, there was an anonymous attendee that said the app looks very slick. So well done on the food creation.
Yeah, I've got a big thing on making things visually engaging. I mean, people are going to use things that look really good, and then it's just a matter of making the numbers and everything around it correct as well.
Well, especially when you got someone like Jeff to work with, who you'd said before definitely knows what he wants. It kind of makes it easier to make things look pretty when you don't have to worry about the variables, right? Seeing here.
Yeah, so there was a bit of reverse engineering going on from the Excel spreadsheet, but it was really easy to do that in the Smartabase system with all the data flowing through from TrainingPeaks and capturing that for each athlete. But it's, I think, as I was saying before, making this, you know, visually engaging in terms of the colors and the way it's laid out, but then being able to interact with it as well. So I think you might have been seeing when I was clicking around as Jeff was talking, just to be able to click on this bike session and see exactly what it was and the loads and times, you know, associated with that session, or this strength one here where they completed it in their home gym, obviously with COVID and all that going on. And these donuts are also interactive, where you can click on the bike and it shows all their bike sessions that they completed that make up that 63% that's written there. And these main two tables here are the ones that are really important, I think, where it details what was planned, what was completed, the difference, and then the 12-week average, which is highlighted in the graph below, and then week-to-week difference that Jeff mentioned before. So trying to keep it as simple as possible so that everyone, you know, who's looking at this dashboard can understand it. So it sort of flows down where, you know, what they've completed is week to week for the last 12 weeks here. And then you can see the weekly bars here in the acute, how it's affecting their chronic load. So you can see that this fake athlete has lost a bit of training in the last couple of weeks, so their chronic load's coming down. But yeah, I think, like Jeff said, just the ability to capture what it was that they were doing in Excel and be able to visually represent it here in the dashboard just creates some massive time savings for them.
And just to geek out a little bit on the dashboard creation and dashboard flow, if I can, just for people that are watching that are users of any sort of visualization suite, having a viewpoint, and Owen, please back me up or tell me I'm wrong here. You know, having a flow from whether it's a day to a week to a month to a extended period of time like 12 weeks is really important, especially for the viewers. And what we're seeing here is exactly that. We've kind of got a daily comment, and then we've got the weekly load, the actual workouts that they did across the week and the percentage breakdowns in those pie charts left and right. And then we flow down to the last 12 weeks. Jeff, you may or not, you'd mentioned before that the train load and how you guys are visualizing that isn't necessarily your 100% area, but is there any reason why it's a 12-week review of training load? Is that anything to do with, is that just a preference, or is it sailing specific? Is there any reason why it's a 12-week review of data there?
No, look, I think it's a nice snapshot to see, you know, what's been happening. We tend to have different, although we struggle to have an off season or a pre-season, we definitely have different periods within the year, and it does come down to about 4 different periods. So I think it's just nicely aligned, to be honest, with, you know, what our athletes are doing, whether they're in Europe or whether they're back home, and then also what looks great, and then what is actually meaningful. Sometimes going back too far, or, you know, you just start muddying the waters. It's really about what are they doing in the moment, and what's been happening lately and what's coming up.